This episode of Gutter Nuggets has been brought to you by Stanley's Butt Targets. If you're gonna chuck a knife at something, chuck it at a butt. Whoa, that was a crazy movie.
Robert, that was insane. That was amazing.
It was. We just watched Stone Cold from 1991 with Brian Bosworth. Mm-hmm. Ben, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Let me tell you about Stone Cold. Stone Cold is about a dude named Joe Huff, a.k.a. Stone Cold.
He's an undercover cop doing a good job with a bad attitude.
He's an undercover cop who's assigned to infiltrate this Nazi motorcycle club called the Brotherhood. And the Brotherhood doesn't fuck around. When one of their comrades decides to straight up kill a priest in broad daylight for no apparent reason, and then he gets caught, the Brotherhood devises a plan to bust him out before he's put on death row. Stone Cold earns the Brotherhood's trust by doing cool things like racing motorcycles and shooting guns and pretending to chop off a dude's ear. After his cover is blown, Stone Cold totally starts to fuck up the Brotherhood shit, killing people left and right. This all culminates to a January 6th event that makes you wish they made movies like this now. Stone Cold is fucking awesome.
It sure was. I guess that answers the question of what you thought about it.
I absolutely love this movie so much.
This movie, we started watching this when we pulled it out of the trash pile. Yes. I didn't know what to expect. I had never seen it before. And from the beginning, it was just it's like a movie that they're parodying a regular action movie with a cop.
Yes.
But it's not a parody. It's just badass.
It's got one of the greatest intros. There's just awesomeness around every corner. There is I don't know if this is part of the intro, but it is one of my favorite scenes. You have two guys in the Brotherhood that are using guns against each other. They're sort of doing a William Tell kind of thing where they put a beer can on top of their head or on their shoulder. A crowd has gathered around this event, and no one seems to be scared that this person might shoot off and might not hit the beer can.
Yeah, they're standing next to it, behind it, right in the bullet trajectory. And they're just to watch the biker things happen.
And at one point, the guy gets frustrated because he's not hitting the beer can and pulls out an automatic pistol, like an Uzi almost. And just starts shooting like crazy and doesn't hit the guy, doesn't kill the guy, but hits the car behind him, and then the car blows up and everyone is happy. Even the man who was going to die, who he was shooting at. It was awesome.
That's a staple in these, whenever there's a biker gang or some sort of gang, like bad guy gang, always, whenever bad happens, even if it's to them, they find it the funniest thing in the world. like the guy like pulls out a gun and like tries to shoot a squirrel, but then it bounces and hits his like biker girlfriend in the head and kills. This didn't happen in the movie, but I'm just giving an example. Like kills his biker girlfriend, and they would all just laugh. They would all just laugh. That's how bikers go. That's how bikers do it.
If that happened in this movie, I would be like, yeah, of course, it belongs in here. Because that's what these guys are all about. The Brotherhood is about being a horrible person and doing horrible things. But it's the coolest thing in the world, too.
Joe Huff is a cop and he doesn't play by the rules, and then then they say to get off suspension you can go infiltrate the gang or whatever. And but the gang is where the meat starts. And we have Brian Bosworth, we have Lance is Henriksen, and William Forsythe, who's insane. And and it's just pandemonium in this little like their little biker city. And I think entering the biker city is one of my favorite parts because there's so much gratuitous boob in this movie.
Yeah, this is sort of like a walled off, like, or fenced off area where the Brotherhood have their like home base. And yeah, like as you were saying, like the camera pans and it's revealing all this like stuff, like, you know, like I guess it's Joe Huff like coming into the walled off or fenced off place on his bike, and it totally pans and there's just a bunch of naked ladies showering, and then it's
naked
just,
ladies.
It's so weird.
Actually, one of the best scenes in the entire movie, I think, or soon after that, he walks into the bar. And I think and so it starts. It's a whole sequence. It starts and there's a woman playing, I think, pool, right?
Yes.
And she wins, and then she just like jumps and her boobs fly out of her shirt and they bounce. And then a guy comes in front of her and like throws a knife at the wall, and it just goes into a poster of a butt. And it's the most surreal, strange sequence of events before Stone Cold, which is his secret name, his undercover name, goes and meets the Nazi bikers.
There are cool explosions in this movie that happen. There's a part where, like I said, when the guys are shooting each other and the car explodes. There's a part where Joe Huff, Stone Cold, is, you know, he's trying to prove himself to, you know, the gang, and they get cheated out of some money and by the mob. And he jumps on the hood of the mobster's car as it's driving away, and he says one of the best lines in the movie, "You just picked up the wrong passenger," as he's dangling on the hood of this car, and they try to shoot him.
Pick up the wrong passenger, buddy.
I'm trying to remember what happens after that. I think the car explodes or something like that, or maybe that's later, but I don't know. This movie is so many cool.
Explosions. Yeah, it's just nonstop, absolute ridiculous scenes. Obviously, he meets one of the Nazi biker girls and kind of starts having a relationship, because it's not that big of a deal. I guess it's not a deal breaker, and
she's a Nazi.
And so we have that, like, so he has kind of that relationship, you know, building through this. There's a guy, one of the bikers, that when he first is trying to prove himself to the biker gang, he really proves himself to this one sort of lower biker guy who's like now sort of his like my pillow guy now.
Tool, it's okay. Hey, Stone Man, where you been? Shane's been asking about you.
And he's just like completely attached and like, you know, he doesn't know he's a cop.
Yeah, he vouched for him.
Yeah.
This guy, and this guy actually, later on in the movie is kind of upset with the Brotherhood, because, you know, they're not following, the ways of the Brotherhood. They're just killing in cold blood, which I think the guy that they're trying to save from prison pretty much did that anyway. But anyway, he gets punished. Do you remember this part where
I do.
He puts his the leader of the Brotherhood puts this guy's hand in the spokes of a motorcycle's wheel and chops off his hand.
Which you think that means like we're chopping off your hand
You're
because
done.
we're mad at you and you're done. Yeah. And then like 2 scenes later, he's just in it. It's just
Right.
like, oh, whoops. You know, that was I stood in the corner for a minute. They didn't show his hand again. I don't believe I remember seeing any bandaged hand or fingerless hand. It was really strange to see him just, I'm back. No
biggie.
The William Forsythe is the biker who never trusted him from the beginning.
Right.
And he never likes him. And he's the craziest. He's like the number 2. Because Lance Hendrickson is number 1.
Right.
And I never quite can put my finger on Lance Hendrickson's character because I never know if he actually likes Stone Cold or not.
There is that like, I trust you, but I also don't trust you kind of thing.
William Forsythe's character hates him.
Oh yeah.
And he's just always trying to, like, if this was a sitcom, he'd be the one that was always trying to, like, you know, mess him up. So he like says, I'm a cop, you know,
Right.
which was a running joke that we had when we watched this movie because Stone Cold comes off really dumb. And we kept joking around like he's accidentally just slips, I'm a cop. I'm a cop every time he's talking to people.
Right. And at one point, he absolutely just tells it's his Nazi girlfriend. He says, I'm a cop. I'm a cop.
Look at me. Look right at me. Tell me you're not a cop.
Yeah, I'm a cop.
That was the funniest thing in the world because we had like at least like 45 minutes of this joke already running and then he says it. And she's very upset when she finds out.
She is upset, but you know, she's at the point, the reason why she's confiding in him, because she's also upset with the Brotherhood. She doesn't like what they're doing. So, you know, she puts her trust in him, and then she later finds out through a contact that he has an alias. And she's not sure that he's a cop, but he just outright says it. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm a cop.
and right about the same time, William Forsythe finds out as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's not happy.
No, he is not.
Which leads to one of the best scenes in the entire movie where William Forsythe gets really angry that he finds out he's a cop, and they start this chase through the streets
on motorcycles.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, they're going through this tunnel. There's like a little part where the bad dude hits he goes close to a car and like fucking cuts the driver's hand or something like that, and then the driver like jerks his car and almost kills Stone Cold.
What a horrible day.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, just being a dude going on your way to work, and the guy's like, oh, there's a biker. And he just comes up to you and, like, slashes your hand, and you crash.
I would be so mad and confused. They make it out of the tunnel, and William's, like, death is just, it's epic, but it happens so fast. And you're like, what did I just watch? Because that was awesome. They're bumping up against each other, and Stone Cold pushes him into another oncoming car, and you get this shot that happens in seconds, milliseconds. He's dead. He dies. He got hit by a car and caught on fire, and he's dead.
Yeah, he just he gets to say like "fuck you, cop" right before he dies,
Yes.
and then he dies. Which the only other thing I wanted to bring up is I think during the chase, you keep seeing like William Forsythe like doing crazy jumps, but his hair is always like it's like blowing in front of his face, but it looks like they like glued it to the stuntman's face. So you couldn't tell it wasn't William Forsythe because it didn't like look like it was blown in his face. It looks like it was like almost a mask, but you're like, what is that? And it's his hair, but it's not leaving his face. Yeah. And it's such a great problem solver. Yeah, just put the hair in front of his face, but it'll blow away. I'll glue it.
It's perfect. His death is perfect, and his funeral is even better. The Brotherhood decide to give him a it's sort of a Viking funeral. There's no body of water involved, but he is they have his body propped up on his motorcycle. There's a bunch of flammable stuff piled up near him, and Lance goes up to him, gives him a hug, I think kisses him.
And his gross burned corpse, like bloody, is just like hanging there. It's just like they just put his corpse on a bike, and they didn't do anything to like make him look like he wasn't a bloody, horrible corpse.
No, and then they just light him on fire, and they have a party.
Yeah.
Robert, when I die, I think I want that.
Stack up a couple disorderly VHS boxes around you.
Yes. Put me on a little tricycle.
Yeah. And I'll kiss you. I'll kiss your bloody corpse, and then I'll light you up and send you on your way.
Perfect. The end to this movie is one of the most epic things I've ever seen. They're attacking a government building, and they look very similar to the same buttholes that did that to the Capitol building. So it is a very January 6th kind of like thing.
Form 2 lines, please. Form 2 lines. Right up there.
And you got fucking Stone Cold trying to stop. He's pretty much a one-man army.
Okay, so there's judges are going to sentence their friend, and they want to save him. Then there's also a senator that wants to that pledges to put all bikers behind bars, basically. So they want to get him. So Stone Cold has to race to the this Capitol to stop them from getting their friend out and also harming the senator.
I don't remember how, but they get a hold of a chopper.
Yes, which is flown by Mac's dad from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which was the weirdest thing.
We're gonna blow your ass all over the sky.
You got Stone Cold busting in, killing all these dudes, throwing them off of like high places. The leader of the Brotherhood actually goes in and kills the senator and all of the judges.
Yeah, it just happens. Oh, they also shoot before this happens. They shoot the girl that he's been interested in the head. So they shoot the girl in the head, just kill her. Then they go to the Capitol, kill all the judges that are about to sentence their friend. Then the senator dies. So basically everything that they wanted to do, they've succeeded.
Right. They get their friend out of he's I guess in handcuffs, like about to be sentenced. They save him.
Which in the process, the guy that they were trying to save from the courthouse gets murdered. So he's just murdered. Everything just falls apart. Like everything just it's kind of like the January 6th. Like everybody just fails miserably, and everybody gets hurt.
The chopper explosion, I don't remember how it explodes, but something gets thrown into it.
Or he throws something perfectly at the time. Like a bike. Like he does something where he makes the bike fly out the window. And it's perfectly timed, goes into the chopper blows up.
I need a sequel to this movie. I need there to be a Stone Cold 2 for sure.
Stone Cold 2. And what is he gonna do? Like it's like the biker gang is back.
Maybe make it like futuristic too, but like weirdly futuristic.
But in space. It should be in space. 100%. He's now retired.
Mm-hmm.
And there's space pirates.
Robot space pirates.
Yeah. And it's 100% the exact same movie, except he has to go to space and infiltrate the space.
He has to pretend he's a robot. He has to pretend he's a robot.
and he has to stop them from rescuing their robot friend from robot court.
I love it. That would be great. I'd watch that.
So yeah, Lance Hendrickson gets brutally, like he doesn't kill him at the end. He's going to let him live.
2 cops have him. He goes for the cop's gun to shoot Stone Cold, and then Stone Cold's partner shoot Lance?
And then he walks out of the courthouse, and the camera just follows him, and he's walking past all of the blown up stuff, and he's just walking, and they're following him the whole time with the credits. And he's he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the reporters are trying to get like a word in, like, "Hey, what just happened in there?" And he's just like, just walking.
Everybody died except for him and a couple cops. Everybody's dead. And he just leaves, like, job well done.
Do you think he gets promoted after this?
Oh, 100%.
It's like the end of Star Wars, where everyone gets the medal.
Yeah, but in this version of Star Wars, the Princess Leia gets, like, murdered. Han Solo is burned to death.
And there's just explosions.
And then Chewbacca just walks out. Like he did the best job ever. I think anyone who hasn't seen this should watch this movie.
Hell yeah.
If you like stupid action movies, it's I can't believe that this passed my radar this long.
I've never heard of this movie. I don't even know Brian Bosworth. Didn't even know who that was. Now I want to watch all of his movies.
I remember seeing the commercial for this, the trailer for this on pay-per-view, and I remember seeing the the VHS box. But I always wrote it off like back then as like something that like how we view like really bad digital kind of crappy straight to video movies.
Right.
But this was a big movie. This was like a $4 million budget back then as a big movie. So yeah, everybody needs to you need to stop what you're doing and go watch Stone Cold right now.
Because God forgives, but the Brotherhood doesn't. And I don't either. I don't forgive either. I'm gonna shoot you. Pew pew.